I think knowing about your culture, it's so important to know the real history. I think that's just imperative to really know who you are and know why, your parents are the way that they are and your grandparents are the way that they are, and to understand that history that has been carried down. I was lucky enough to have 2 kids who embraced it, and it took my husband a little while, even though he's born and raised local boy, but now he is a Kanaka all the way now. It's awesome. My name is Paige Pukoʻa Chang. I'm an artist, I'm a kapa maker, an educator, and I love art history and I love looking at art. I consume it like, I'm a crazy person. My history as a art student is as a printmaker, and I love the process of printmaking too. And it's no different with kapa making. It's just the preparation to get to the point where you actually can pound the fabric, and then that's like building your canvas, but we're actually growing it from the ground up. That art background really was a perfect training ground for kapa making.
So what exactly brought you to Hawaii?
There were many reasons, for sure. We would have family reunions in Laie, and like every other year. And then by the time I graduated from college, I was coming on my own as often as possible and just hanging out. I ended up coming for an extended visit here for 2 months. My cousin, my best friend's sister cousin, was one of those first students at University of Hawaii in the Olelo department. And it was just so exciting. They were so excited about what they were doing and they were learning so much. So I was hanging out with them. Yeah, my mom likes to think that I came here for a man, but I came here for my cousin. And also on that trip, I was invited to participate in an art show at the Bishop Museum. So I was like, okay, I flew back to Washington, literally sold everything I had, bought a ticket, and there was a family reunion coming up. And so I was like, I'm going to the reunion, I'm not coming back. And that was it. And here I'm finally a Kanaka, I wanted to be in a place where, even though, I talk different than everyone here, I definitely was raised in a different culture, it was nice to be with people who had understanding about who I was as a Hawaiian. I loved Hawaii, and I mourned not being raised here.
How many different schools have you kind of worked with for the Kapa workshop?
So 10 elementary schools that I can think of off the top of my head. It's to introduce them to Native practice. And one of the biggest parts of that is to kilo, to observe. It's teaching these kids to kind of look up at the world around them and recognize all of these amazing resources. So it's really kind of, I'm trying to stealthily get in there and teach them about resources that feed the earth, that don't poison the earth, no plastic, and you can do this all with your own 2 hands. You just have to be observant, but it's going through that process and all of us working together and learning the vocabulary that goes with it, very specific vocabulary just for kapa making. I could go on and on, because you can teach everything with kapa too. You can teach math and you can teach science, and then design principles and art principles and balance and repetition, all of it. With the right teachers, I don't have the time to do all of that, and I also am not an expert math teacher or whatever. But with the right teaching partners, I have worked with teachers who go right there in there with me, and they are, teaching it soup to nuts.
Do you feel that some art should evolve in order to stay relevant, or should you stay rigidly true to tradition?
We have to keep moving forward. You have to be innovative. I think Hawaiians were the most innovative people, because our kapa is different than everybody else's in Polynesia. So they were already innovating, living in this modern era. I don't want kapa to just be that, oh, cool, ancient practice. And then what do you do with it? It's art on the wall. So I make jewelry with it. And I can't tell you, I don't think I've ever had people say, oh yeah, I've seen that. I saw someone do that before. This fiber can be anything. I've used it to sculpt things. I make cordage out of it. I've experimented and made bioplastic with it. I think if we had not lost this practice, who knows where it would be? Who knows what we'd be doing with it? So I think it would be everywhere. And that's my goal, is to spread this. It's, why not? Why not? I think my ancestors are stoked that I'm pushing it forward. I feel like the best thing I can do is my practice. Do it and show people that you can do it. And that's what I'm trying to do.